Hello everyone, GameDog here, and welcome back to another Wi-Fi battle. This time I'm fighting a guy named Adriel, in all caps, and we both have some pretty interesting teams this time around. He has stuff like Diggersby, Flareon. I have some interesting picks such as Electros and Druddigon. It's me and my weird teams. Anyway, let's go ahead and start this. 3, 2, 1, go. Now, I believe he actually starts out with his Beedrill. Now, I actually don't have much experience, fighting Beedrill. By the way, Xatu is actually a really good lead from my experience because, this is like a scarfed set with U-turn, and, the big caveat is that he also gets Magic Bounce. And the thing is, kind of like, with how I usually you guys know, one of my favorite things about using weird Pokemon is that no one knows what to expect from them. I have seen so many people just use status moves in my Xatu, not even knowing it gets Magic Bounce, and then just getting destroyed as a result. Speaking of getting destroyed, I one-shot his, I one-shot his Beedrill, because the one thing I do know about is that he is quite a glass cannon. I would have loved to U-turn out there, but, of course I couldn't because I was scarfed, and I go out to my Tapu Fini, who is the special wall on this particular team. And this Tapu Fini does, like, nothing. Despite being the only legendary, this Pokemon ironically does the least amount of stuff ironically does the least amount of stuff in this particular battle. He also outspeeds me, which is not really a good sign. I can barely live any hits in this thing, especially since he also got, speaking of forgetting stuff gets Magic Bounce, now I can't use Defog, which is mainly what I brought this thing along for, because, one of my Pokemon actually has a Focus Sash, and I don't want rocks or anything, because that destroys the Focus Sash, as we all know. So he's gonna very easily take me out here, because, I misplayed. What can I say? I forgot Espeon gets Magic Bounce. I hate fighting Evolutions like this. So I decided to go out to my Scolipede. Now, I kind of predict him to switch out here, which he does, because if you send a Poison type into a Psychic type, you probably have something going on. He goes to this thing, and then I take this opportunity to go ahead and use Steamroller. I kind of thought he was going to stay in, thinking about it again, because why else would I go for Steamroller? Steamroller is a weird move. Most people go for Mega Horn, although I like Steamroller more, at least on fast Pokemon like this, because why do I like Steamroller? Because it has 100 accuracy, and it can also flinch, and I think it has a higher chance of flinching than most flinching moves, which is kind of cool. This Pokemon is kind of meant to stall around, so I can get some speed. It also has Swords Dance, it has Toxic Spikes. It's kind of a weird, kind of pivot support kind of Pokemon. Again, I absolutely love Scolipede. He's one of my absolute favorite, bug types, just because he gets so many weird moves and abilities that you would not expect it to get. So I go to my Baton, or I go for Baton Pass now. I kind of don't like the animation for Baton Pass in this game, personally. And out comes my Electros. Now, this guy probably has no clue what Electros does. And, frankly, no one does, because this Electros is actually a mixed everything. I don't think there's a single IV he doesn't have at least a couple, or EV. I don't think there's a single EV he doesn't at least have, like, a couple or a little bit of, support in. He had a Twisted Spoon for some reason, too. He has mixed, he's a mixed attacker. He has, like, a neutral nature. Like, this is a really weird Pokemon. It's probably one of the weirdest, competitive sets I've ever made. It has, like, I think its moveset is U-turn, Drain Punch, Giga Drain, and Knockoff. So it has a weird combination of draining moves and support moves. Like, just a lot of stuff you would not expect. He was able to one-shot Espeon, which I'm pretty happy about, although he didn't really do much damage to the Flareon. He did get some health back, though, even though he did die. And now to the other weird pick on my team. This is Dark, here to save the Deimos, Druddigon. And I kind of expect him to switch out because it's very... Like, honestly, I'd imagine he knew that this thing got at least Earthquake, because Earthquake is a really obvious move for something like this to have. Like, it's just a big hulking beast of a Pokemon, so you could probably assume that. I expect him to switch out, which is why I went for Substitute, which is the main strategy of this Pokemon. He does stay in, though. He goes for a turn, does a big chunk of damage on me before I even get the substitute off. So I decided to just, you know what, let's just use Earthquake regardless, because, like, what else would I use on Flareon? This is, it's not... This is, I think this is like a weird substitute set. It also has like Poison Jab and a couple other weird moves. Then he goes out to Hitmonchan. And I was half tempted to switch out here because it was pretty obvious he was going to go for the Ice Punch. And, well, actually, he goes for Fake Out first. And he actually gets a critical hit even though it doesn't really do anything. And he does accidentally stall out his own son. I don't think that really comes back to bite him, though. What does come back to bite him, though, is the fact that he actually let some poison damage get on top of him, which is kind of unfortunate. He does end up going for Ice Punch in the end. Dark gets taken out, and who do I go to next? This poison comes back to win the day, by the way. I love Toxic Spikes on this team. I go to Dogu 2. In expecting him to switch out, I go for... Actually, I looked at his team prior to this. Not a single Pokemon on his team resists or is immune to Psychic at this point, so I decided to just go for Psyshock anyway, expecting it to kind of kill. He sends back out his Ninetales. I really don't know what this Pokemon is meant to do in the sun, or pardon me, I really don't know what this team is meant to do with the sun. Like, it just kind of feels like this Ninetales was thrown in just for the sake of throwing a Ninetales in. He does have that Flareon, but even though that Flareon is not the greatest Pokemon, as we all know. I go for Psyshock twice in a row. I know I'm going to outspeed him because I am Scarfed. This is, again, a very unexpected Pokemon that does way more than people expected to. Psyshock will... Oh, there's Fake Out again. You know, honestly, I don't think you should ever use Fake Out when you're poisoned. You're just kind of wasting turns at that point. I really should have gotten some Toxic Spikes off, but then again, I don't really think I had enough turns to actually do that before my Scolipede was killed. Go for Psyshock again anyway. It easily takes this thing out. You know, thinking about it, I think I probably should have gone for Dazzling Gleam instead. And then he goes out to Nesquik. This is the only Pokemon that's actually nicknamed on his team for some reason. Nice shiny Diggersby. This Pokemon is not used that much anymore, and I actually am quite a fan of him. So I try and take him out, and it doesn't kill, doesn't respect him that damage. Then he goes for Swords Dance. I know I need to kill this thing right now, though, because as we all know, this thing gets huge power. It essentially has quadruple attack right now, which is super dangerous. And I think at this point he goes for Quick Attack, and let me be frank, that is the most damage I have ever seen Quick Attack do. Although I know why it did that much, though. I think he has a Life Orb. I think that just did Life Orb damage. He gets Stab. He has quadruple attack right now. Diggersby is really, really strong. So much so that I go out to me, even though this return still kills me regardless. That's unfortunate. Although I still end up winning anyway, because I still have my because I still have my Scolipede in the back. That thing still has 1 health remaining. So I did technically win this. It was a very close match, and that was the battle. That was a pretty fun one.